Hey, gorgeous souls, I'm Ashley, and I'm about to tell you the most heartbreaking betrayal story that turned into the sweetest revenge against a husband. Who thought pregnancy made me vulnerable and stupid? While I was 7 months pregnant with our first child, dealing with morning sickness, swollen feet, and preparing to become a mother, my husband Derek was having a passionate affair with his 24-year-old personal trainer and planning to leave me after the baby was born. But here's where this pregnant mama showed everyone what real strength looks like. I discovered Derek's affair, documented everything, and planned the most devastating revenge that destroyed his reputation, his career, and his relationship with his mistress. When Derek thought he was getting a quick divorce from his fat, emotional, pregnant wife, he ended up losing his business, his freedom, and custody rights to our daughter. Oh, and that fitness trainer he thought he was going to marry. She dumped him the moment his money disappeared. This story has everything: pregnancy, betrayal, financial fraud, epic divorce, court victory, and the kind of revenge that proves you should never underestimate a mother protecting her child. Y'all ready for this mama bear justice? Because this is how a pregnant woman destroyed her cheating husband's entire life. Beautiful souls, let me take you back to 2 years ago when I thought I was living the perfect life with my husband Derek and preparing to welcome our first child together. I'm Ashley, 29 years old, and I work as a graphic designer for a marketing firm in Austin, Texas. I'd been married to Derek for 4 years, and we'd been trying to get pregnant for over a year before finally conceiving our daughter, Emma. Derek is 32 and owns a successful fitness coaching business with 3 locations throughout Austin. He's always been obsessed with health, fitness, and maintaining his physique, which initially attracted me to him because I admired his discipline and motivation. When we found out I was pregnant, Derek seemed thrilled and supportive. He posted the ultrasound photos on social media with captions like, "Can't wait to meet our little angel," and "Ashley is going to be the most amazing mother." Derek was attentive during my early pregnancy, coming to doctor appointments, researching baby products, and talking excitedly about how he was going to teach our child about fitness and healthy living. "I want our kid to grow up understanding the importance of taking care of their body," Derek would say. "We're going to be the kind of parents who model healthy behavior and active lifestyles." My pregnancy was relatively normal, but came with the typical challenges: morning sickness during the first trimester, fatigue, and gradual weight gain as my body changed to accommodate our growing baby. By my second trimester, I'd gained about 25 pounds, which was completely within the healthy range recommended by my doctor, but I was definitely looking and feeling pregnant. Derek's reaction to my changing body was initially supportive, but I started noticing subtle comments that made me uncomfortable. "Don't worry, babe. You'll lose all this baby weight once Emma is born," Derek would say when I'd express insecurity about my appearance. "We'll get you back to your pre-pregnancy body in no time." Derek also started making suggestions about my diet and exercise routine that felt more critical than supportive. "Maybe you should stick to salads for lunch," Derek would suggest. "I know you're eating for 2, but you don't want to gain too much weight. That's not healthy for you or the baby." When I'd explained that my doctor was happy with my weight gain and that I was following medical recommendations, Derek would dismiss my concerns. "Doctors often don't give the best advice about fitness and nutrition," Derek would argue. "I work with people's bodies every day, and I know what healthy looks like." Around my 5th month of pregnancy, Derek's behavior toward me started changing in ways that I initially attributed to stress about becoming a father. Derek began working longer hours at his fitness centers, claiming he was trying to grow the business before the baby arrived. "I want to make sure we're financially secure when Emma gets here," Derek would explain. "I'm putting in extra hours now so I can take time off after she's born." Derek also started going to the gym more frequently, sometimes twice a day, claiming he needed to maintain his fitness routine and set a good example for our family. "It's important for me to stay in peak physical condition," Derek would say. "As a fitness business owner, my body is my advertisement. Plus, I want to be healthy and strong for our daughter. Derek's increased focus on fitness and work meant he was spending less time with me and was often too tired for conversation or intimacy when he was home. When I'd express that I miss spending time together, Derek would make me feel like I was being needy and unreasonable. "Ashley, you're being emotional because of the pregnancy hormones," Derek would say dismissively. "I'm working hard for our family's future. You should be supportive, not clingy." As my pregnancy progressed, Derek became increasingly critical of my appearance and less interested in including me in social activities. Derek stopped posting photos of us together on social media, claiming he wanted to keep our private life more private. During this transitional time, when friends would invite us to social events, Derek would often decline on our behalf, saying I was too tired or not feeling well without consulting me. "Pregnancy has been really challenging," Derek would tell people. "She needs a lot of rest and isn't up for social activities right now." Derek also started making hurtful comments about my pregnancy weight and appearance that disguised themselves as health concerns. "I'm worried about how much weight you're gaining," Derek would say. "It's not healthy for you to get this big. Maybe we should talk to the doctor about a stricter diet plan." When I'd point out that my doctor was completely satisfied with my health and weight gain, Derek would suggest that medical professionals aren't always focused on optimal fitness. Derek's criticism was making me feel insecure and unattractive during what should have been an exciting time in our lives. About 6 months into my pregnancy, Derek hired a new personal trainer for his fitness centers named Brittany Walsh. Brittany was 24, had a perfect fitness model physique, and specialized in body transformation and lifestyle coaching for clients who wanted dramatic physical changes. Derek was immediately impressed with Brittany's qualifications and began talking about her constantly. "Brittany has this amazing approach to fitness that combines physical training with mental coaching," Derek would tell me. "It's going to help our business reach the next level." Derek started working closely with Brittany to develop new training programs and marketing strategies for the fitness centers. "Brittany understands the psychology of transformation," Derek would explain. "She's helping me redesign our entire approach to client services." Derek began staying late at the gym to collaborate with Brittany on business development and would come home talking enthusiastically about her ideas and insights. "Brittany thinks we should focus more on lifestyle transformation rather than just physical fitness," Derek would say. "She's really opened my eyes to new possibilities for the business." As Derek became more involved with Brittany's work, his emotional distance from me and our pregnancy became more pronounced. Derek stopped asking about my doctor appointments or showing interest in baby preparations. When I'd try to discuss nursery decorating, baby names, or delivery plans, Derek would seem distracted and uninterested. "We have plenty of time to figure out those details," Derek would say dismissively. "Right now, I need to focus on work, so we can afford all this baby stuff." Derek also stopped being physically affectionate with me, claiming my pregnant body made him nervous about hurting the baby. "I don't want to do anything that might be dangerous for Emma," Derek would explain when I'd try to initiate intimacy. "Maybe we should wait until after she's born and you're feeling more like yourself again." The combination of Derek's criticism, his obsession with Brittany's work, and his emotional withdrawal was making me feel isolated and insecure during the most vulnerable time of my life. Asterisk, gorgeous souls. The truth about Derek's affair came to light in the most devastating way possible, just when I needed his support the most during my 7th month of pregnancy. I discovered he'd been planning to abandon me and our baby for his fitness trainer mistress. My first real suspicion that something was wrong came from Derek's increasingly secretive behavior with his phone and social media. Derek had always been open about his phone usage, but suddenly he was guarding it carefully and taking it with him everywhere, even to the bathroom. When notifications would come in, Derek would quickly grab his phone and read messages privately, sometimes stepping outside or going to another room to respond. "Who keeps texting you so late at night?" I'd ask when his phone would buzz repeatedly. After 10 p.m., it's just work stuff, Derek would say vaguely. Brittany sends me ideas for new programs. And I respond when I have time to think about them properly. Derek also changed his phone password and started keeping it face down so I couldn't see incoming messages. When I'd comment on his secretiveness, Derek would accuse me of being paranoid and controlling. Ashley, you're being really insecure lately, Derek would say. I have a right to privacy with my business communications. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you get to monitor my every conversation. Derek's work schedule became increasingly erratic and suspicious during my 7th month of pregnancy. He started working late several nights per week, often not coming home until after 9 p.m., claiming he was developing new programs with Brittany. Brittany and I are redesigning the entire client onboarding process, Derek would explain. This project is going to transform the business, but it requires a lot of focused collaboration. Derek also began working on weekends, which had never been part of his routine before Brittany joined the team. I need to be at the gym on Saturday to help Brittany film promotional videos for the new programs, Derek would say. This marketing content is crucial for our expansion plans. When I'd suggest that I could come to the gym and help with, the video filming Derek would discourage my involvement. It's going to be a long day of technical work, Derek would say. You should stay home and rest. The last thing we need is for you to get overtired and stressed. Derek's excuses were always focused on protecting my health, but they felt more like he was protecting his privacy. The truth about Derek's affair was revealed when I accidentally saw his Instagram story while he was in the shower. Derek had left his phone on the kitchen counter, and a notification popped up showing that he'd posted a new Instagram story. Curious about what he was sharing since he'd been posting less about our family lately, I clicked on his story. What I saw made my heart stop. A video of Derek and Brittany at a romantic restaurant, clearly on a date with romantic music and intimate lighting. The video showed them holding hands across the table, laughing intimately, and looking completely comfortable together as a couple. Derek had captioned the story, "Perfect evening with my inspiration," with heart emojis and romantic music overlay. I quickly screenshotted the story before it could disappear, my hands shaking as I processed what I was seeing. When Derek came out of the shower, I confronted him immediately with the evidence. "Derek, what is this?" I asked, showing him the screenshot. "Why are you on a romantic date with Brittany?" Derek's face went white, and he immediately became defensive and angry. "It's not what it looks like," Derek said quickly. "We were having a business dinner to discuss the expansion plans. I was just trying to make the content look professional for social media." Derek's explanation made no sense. So I decided to investigate further by looking through his social media activity. I discovered that Derek had been posting stories and content that I hadn't seen, suggesting he'd been hiding his posts from me. Going back through several weeks of his activity, I found multiple posts featuring Brittany that were clearly romantic rather than professional. Photos of them at concerts, hiking together, sharing meals at upscale restaurants, then even a picture of them at a hotel pool during what was supposedly a business conference. The captions were filled with romantic undertones. My motivation: she makes everything better. I'm living my best life. Most devastating was a post from 2 weeks earlier showing Brittany wearing Derek's jacket with the caption, "When she looks better in your clothes than you do." I also discovered that Derek had created Instagram highlights titled Inspiration and Motivation that were entirely focused on Brittany and their activities together. The evidence was overwhelming. Derek wasn't just having an affair. He was publicly celebrating his relationship with Brittany while hiding it from me. Armed with extensive evidence from social media, I confronted Derek again and demanded the truth about his relationship with Brittany. "Derek, I've seen all the posts, the romantic captions, the dates, the intimate photos," I said. "You're clearly having an affair with Brittany. And I want to know how long this has been going on." Derek initially tried to deny everything, claiming that social media posts were just marketing and that I was misinterpreting professional relationships. But when I showed him specific evidence, photos of them kissing, romantic hotel pictures, and intimate captions, Derek finally broke down and admitted to the affair. "Yes, I've been seeing Brittany," Derek confessed. "It's not what you think. She understands me in ways that you can't right now." "What do you mean, in ways I can't right now?" I demanded. "You're pregnant and emotional and focused entirely on the baby," Derek explained. "Brittany and I connect on fitness, business, and life goals. She motivates me to be my best self." Derek tried to frame his affair as somehow beneficial for our relationship and family. "This relationship with Brittany has made me a better person and a more successful businessman," Derek argued. "That's good for you and Emma in the long run." The worst part of Derek's confession came when I pressed him about his plans for our marriage and family. "What happens after Emma is born?" I asked. "Are you planning to continue this affair while we're raising our daughter?" Derek's answer shattered my heart completely. "Ashley, I think we need to be honest about the fact that our marriage isn't working anymore," Derek said. "We've grown apart, and this pregnancy has made it clear that we want different things." "In life, you want different things, or you want Brittany?" I asked. "I want to be with someone who shares my passion for fitness and personal growth," Derek replied. "Brittany and I are building something together that makes both of us better people." Derek then revealed that he'd been planning to ask for a divorce after Emma was born. "I wanted to wait until after the baby arrived so we could focus on creating a healthy co-parenting relationship," Derek explained. "But I can't pretend to be happy in this marriage anymore." Derek had been living a double life, planning to abandon his pregnant wife and using my pregnancy as a timeline for when he'd feel comfortable leaving me. Beautiful souls, discovering. Derek's affair while 7 months pregnant was devastating. But it also awakened a mama bear instinct that made me more determined and strategic than I'd ever been in my life. I was going to protect my daughter and myself, and Derek was going to pay for every lie he'd told. My first concern was understanding how Derek's affair might be affecting our finances and what resources I'd have available for raising Emma as a single mother. I started by examining our joint bank accounts and credit card statements to understand our financial situation. What I discovered was that Derek had been spending thousands of dollars on his affair with Brittany while telling me we needed to save money for baby expenses. Over the past 4 months, Derek had spent over $18,000 on romantic dinners, hotel rooms, jewelry, and weekend getaways with Brittany. I found charges for expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, jewelry stores, and even a weekend trip to Napa Valley that Derek had claimed was a business conference. Derek had been using our joint credit card and our savings account to fund his affair, while simultaneously telling me that we needed to be more careful with money because of the upcoming baby expenses. We should probably skip buying that expensive stroller, Derek had told me just 2 weeks earlier. Well, he'd spent $2,400 on a romantic weekend with Brittany that same week. I also investigated Derek's business finances to understand how his affair might be affecting our long-term financial security. Derek had made Brittany a partner in his fitness business without consulting me, giving her ownership stake and decision-making authority. I found legal documents showing that Derek had transferred 30% ownership of his business to Brittany in exchange for her consulting services and business development expertise. Derek had also taken out a business loan to expand the fitness centers, but the expansion plans were centered around programs that featured Brittany as the primary trainer and spokesperson. The business loan meant that our personal assets, including our house, were collateral for Derek's expansion plans with his mistress. Derek was essentially risking our family's financial security to build a business empire with the woman he was cheating with. I hired a private investigator named Marcus Rodriguez to help me gather comprehensive evidence of Derek's affair and financial misconduct. Marcus specialized in matrimonial investigations and was experienced in documenting infidelity for divorce proceedings. "Ashley, what you've discovered is just the tip of the iceberg," Marcus told me. If Derek has been this careless with social media and finances, there's probably much more evidence of his affair. Marcus conducted surveillance on Derek and Brittany, documenting their meetings, dates, and intimate activities. Revealed that Derek and Brittany were spending time together almost every day, including overnight stays at hotels and her apartment. Marcus also recovered deleted text messages and emails between Derek and Brittany that contained explicit content and detailed plans for their future together. Asterisk, one text message from Derek to Brittany said, "Can't wait until Ashley has the baby, and we can finally be together openly. It's just a few more months of pretending." Another message from Brittany to Derek said, "I hate that you have to go home to her every night. I wish we could just run away together right now." The most heartbreaking evidence Marcus uncovered was how Derek and Brittany had been discussing my pregnancy and their plans for after Emma was born. Text messages revealed that Derek had been complaining to Brittany about my pregnancy symptoms, my changing body, and my emotional needs. "Ashley is so needy and emotional lately," Derek had texted Brittany. "She's gained so much weight and wants constant attention. I can barely stand being around her. Just a few more months," Brittany had responded. "Once the baby is born and you can divorce her, we'll have our freedom." Derek and Brittany had been planning their future together while I was pregnant, discussing where they'd live, how they'd expand the business, and even talking about having children together eventually. "We'll build the family we actually want," Derek had texted Brittany. Active, healthy kids who grow up understanding fitness and personal development. The evidence showed that Derek viewed Emma and me as obstacles to his real life with Brittany rather than as his family. Armed with comprehensive evidence of Derek's affair and financial misconduct, I consulted with divorce attorney Patricia Williams to develop a legal strategy. Patricia was experienced in high-conflict divorce cases involving infidelity and business assets. "Ashley, the evidence you've gathered gives us strong leverage for both the divorce settlement and custody arrangements," Patricia explained. "Derek's affair, combined with his misuse of marital assets to fund the relationship, puts him in a very weak legal position. Patricia helped me understand my rights regarding the business, our assets, and child support for Emma. We developed a strategy that would maximize my financial security while protecting Emma's interests and ensuring Derek faced consequences for his betrayal. Derek thought he could plan his exit strategy while you were vulnerable and pregnant," Patricia told me. "Instead, his affair and poor judgment are going to cost him everything he's worked for." I spent the final 2 months of my pregnancy quietly preparing for the legal and personal confrontation with Derek while pretending everything was normal. I continued attending couples therapy with Derek, where he would lie about working on our relationship while secretly planning to leave me. During therapy sessions, Derek would claim he was committed to making our marriage work and excited about becoming a father. But I had evidence showing that he was texting Brittany during our therapy sessions and mocking the process too. Her just have to get through another hour of pretending to care about saving this marriage. Derek had texted Brittany during one session. I also used this time to secure important documents, transfer money to accounts Derek couldn't access, and prepare for life as a single mother. Derek thinks I'm just an emotional, pregnant wife who doesn't understand what's happening, I told Patricia. He's about to learn that pregnancy doesn't make women stupid, it makes us protective. Gorgeous souls. Emma's birth should have been the most beautiful moment of our lives, but it became the catalyst for the most comprehensive destruction of a cheating husband's life you've ever witnessed. Derek thought he could use our daughter's arrival as his exit strategy. Instead, it became his complete downfall. Emma was born on a beautiful Tuesday morning after 14 hours of labor. And she was absolutely perfect, healthy, beautiful, and the love of my life from the moment I held her. Derek played the role of devoted husband and father during the delivery, posting photos on social media and accepting congratulations from friends and family. "Meet our beautiful daughter, Emma." Derek posted on Instagram. "Ashley was incredible, and I'm so proud to be this little angel's daddy. For 3 days in the hospital, Derek continued his performance as the perfect new father, bringing me flowers, taking photos with Emma, and talking about our new chapter as a family. But I knew from Marcus's surveillance that, Derek had been texting Brittany throughout my labor, telling her he couldn't wait for this to be over so we can start our real life together. Derek had even met Brittany for dinner the night before I went into labor, promising her that he'd ask for a divorce within 2 weeks of bringing Emma home. 2 weeks after Emma's birth, while I was still recovering and adjusting to motherhood, Derek came home with divorce papers that he'd already filed. Ashley, I know this timing isn't ideal, but I think we need to be honest about our situation, Derek said, presenting the legal documents. I filed for divorce because our marriage isn't working. And I think it's better for Emma if we establish a healthy co-parenting relationship rather than forcing a dysfunctional marriage. Derek's divorce filing requested 50/5 custody of Emma, claimed that I was emotionally unstable due to postpartum depression, and asked for half of all marital assets, including the house and business. I want what's best for Emma, Derek said with fake sincerity. But I also deserve to be happy, and this marriage isn't making either of us happy anymore. Derek thought he was surprising me with divorce papers while I was vulnerable and overwhelmed as a new mother. Instead, I was ready with the most devastating counterattack of his life. Derek, before you continue this performance about wanting what's best for Emma, I think you should see something, I said calmly. I pulled out a folder containing hundreds of pages of evidence documenting his affair, financial theft, and plans to abandon his family. These are photos, text messages, financial records, and surveillance footage showing your affair with Brittany and how you've been stealing from our family to fund your relationship with her. Derek's face went white as he realized the scope of evidence I'd gathered while he thought I was just being an emotional, pregnant wife. You've spent over $25,000 of our money on your affair, I continued. You've given Brittany ownership of your business without my consent. And you've been planning to abandon Emma and me since before she was born, I showed. Derek text messages where he'd called me fat and needy and where he and Brittany had discussed how to minimize his financial obligations to Emma and me. Derek, you're not getting 50/50 custody of our daughter. And you're not getting half our assets, I told him. You're getting sued for adultery, financial misconduct, and fraud. Patricia had prepared a countersuit that was designed to destroy Derek financially and legally. We sued Derek for adultery and breach of marital contract conversion, of marital assets for affair expenses, fraud for transferring business ownership without consent, emotional distress during pregnancy and postpartum period, violation of fiduciary duty as a spouse. The total damages we requested were $400,000 plus attorney fees and costs. We also filed for primary custody of Emma, with Derek receiving only supervised visitation until he could prove he was a stable, committed father. Your affair and abandonment plans show that you're not capable of putting Emma's needs before your own desires, Patricia argued in court. Derek's attorney tried to claim that the affair was irrelevant to custody decisions. But the evidence of Derek's planning to abandon Emma made this argument impossible. Derek's decision to make Brittany a business partner while married to me turned out to be a costly legal mistake. Because Derek had transferred business ownership without my consent during our marriage. The transfer was legally invalid. Patricia was able to void Derek's partnership agreement with Brittany and reclaim the 30% business ownership he'd given her. This meant that Brittany lost her ownership stake in the fitness centers and had no legal claim to the business assets. The business loan Derek had taken out for expansion was also challenged because it used our joint assets as collateral without my knowledge or consent. Derek was forced to liquidate business assets to pay legal fees and cover the fraudulent expenses from our joint accounts. Within 6 months, Derek's fitness empire had collapsed due to legal costs, asset liquidation, and the public scandal of his affair. The legal and financial consequences of Derek's affair had immediate effects on his relationship with Brittany. When Brittany realized that Derek was going to lose his business and face significant financial penalties, she immediately distanced herself from him. "I can't be with someone who's going through this kind of legal and financial drama," Brittany told Derek, according to text messages Marcus intercepted. Brittany left Austin and moved back to California, abandoning Derek just when he needed support the most. The affair that Derek thought was going to be his new life turned out to be a relationship that couldn't survive the consequences of his choices. Derek lost both his marriage and his mistress, while also losing his business and his financial security. The family court judge was particularly harsh in his ruling about Derek's fitness as a father. Mr. Derek's planning to abandon his pregnant wife and newborn daughter shows a fundamental lack of commitment to his parental responsibilities. Judge Martinez ruled. Derek was awarded only supervised visitation with Emma for the first year, with the possibility of increased custody only if he completed parenting classes and counseling. Derek was also ordered to pay $3,200 per month in child support, plus cover all of Emma's medical expenses and childcare costs. The court finds that Mr. Derek's actions have prioritized his personal desires over his family's well-being, the judge stated. Emma's best interests require stability and protection from further abandonment. Derek went from expecting 50/50 custody and minimal financial obligations to having extremely limited parental rights and massive support payments. Today, Emma is 18 months old and the most amazing little girl who fills my life with joy and purpose. The divorce settlement and child support payments have given us financial security, and I've been able to focus on being the best mother possible. I've also started my own graphic design consulting business, which has grown rapidly as I've had time to focus on my career without Derek's negativity and criticism. Emma and I live in a beautiful house that Derek was forced to sign over as part of the settlement. And we're surrounded by friends and family who supported us through the divorce. Derek, meanwhile, is working as an employee at someone else's. Jim, living in a small apartment and struggling to rebuild his life and reputation. He sees Emma twice a week for supervised visits where he's required to focus entirely on her needs rather than his own desires. Derek thought pregnancy made me weak and vulnerable. I tell people who ask about the divorce. But pregnancy actually made me fierce and protective. And that's what destroyed him. I learned that the people who betray us when we're most vulnerable often underestimate the strength that comes from protecting someone you love more than yourself. Derek thought he could abandon his pregnant wife and newborn daughter for a younger woman, and that I'd be too overwhelmed to fight back effectively. Instead, his betrayal awakened a mama bear who was smarter, stronger, and more determined than he ever imagined. That's how you handle a husband who cheats during pregnancy, y'all. You document everything, protect your child, and make sure he faces every consequence for choosing selfishness over family. Sometimes the best revenge comes from proving that a mother's love makes her unstoppable. And gorgeous souls, if this story resonated with you, if you've been betrayed during pregnancy or any other vulnerable time, I want you to know that vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes our most challenging moments reveal strength we didn't know we had. If you want to hear more stories like this, more tales of pregnancy, betrayal, justice, mama bear revenge, and proof that protecting our children makes us unstoppable, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post new revenge stories every week, and trust me, y'all are not ready for some of the maternal justice I have coming up. Your support means everything to me, beautiful souls. Every like, every comment, every share helps me reach more people who need to hear these stories. Because sometimes, knowing that another mother fought back and won is exactly the inspiration we need to protect ourselves and our children. So smash that subscribe button. Leave me a comment telling me about your own experiences with betrayal during vulnerable times. And let's build a community of people who refuse to let anyone take advantage of us when we need support the most. See you gorgeous souls in the next story. And remember, never underestimate a mother's strength. Always document betrayal and fight like hell for the people you love.